Welcome back to the Manor. Julian McBain here, and we are still on Monria. And as you can see, I am looking in the auction house at the moment. And the reason I'm looking in the auction house is because, as it happens, two apartments here on Monria have come up for sale. One is finished in a mere 8 hours, which means both of these will be done by the time this video releases on Sunday. But one releases in 8 hours and one releases in 16-ish hours. Well, okay, closer to 9 and 17, but still. And I'm sorely tempted to finally drop the money on one. I don't have an apartment, as you all know. The ones on Monria are amazing, so we're going to show you some of those. And we're going to kind of get into it. And I'm just going to kind of go through, look at the apartments so you can see what they look like. I know I've done that kind of on some videos, but this is 3G. Really... And I'm just going to show you what the apartments look like and why this would be a consideration. I mean, they're going for $300 US, and the Cthulhu one's going for $4. That's not a small amount of money. And so, like, that's one of those things where it's like, do I want to drop the money on this and maybe skip Easter Mayhem, which is coming up in like 4 days? It'll only be like 2 by the time this releases. Or do I want to hold off and hope to God that it pops up again? Maybe they'll reduce the price. And that's always a consideration you have to make, because maybe they reduce the price and maybe they just hold on to it for a while. So, which floor are we on? But as we're getting into this, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Manor. Please take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, 1 subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Also, please consider going to patreon.com/JulianMcBain if you want to support my work. If you do, you'll get exclusive content. I'll be working on the March release this week, because with school I haven't been able to. Thankfully, finals are over, so that part of the ordeal is done. And in a couple of weeks we start again, but it's only 1 class instead of 2, so I'll actually have time to do shit. So, go check us out. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 7. Floor 7. Because the letters are the floor, and they don't put the letters of the floor here. You have to do the alphabet. So it's 3G. So this is 3G. And this is a Monria apartment. They're flippin' huge. And this person has a bunch of pets in their apartment. And cuddly toys, I suppose. But this is amazing. Like, this is a big apartment. Plenty of space. You got the bedroom here. You got this wide living area. You've got these 2 side rooms. So, like, one could be a kitchen or a dining room or a sitting area or a shop. I could set up a shop in here. Like, have one side be a shop, put barriers up so that people can't get through or it would be considered rude. Just have this big-ass private space to work with. You've got the 2 shelves up here too that are basically separate rooms as well, the loft. So, I mean, not for nothing, these are some of the biggest apartments in the game. But they go for $300 to $400 US. That's a lot of money for like a virtual apartment. Like, not for nothing, that ain't cheap. So I've got to make a decision on what I'm going to do with that. Whether I'm going to drop the money or not, or maybe I'll let it go and see if they come back on for a lower price in the near future. Because technically I have the dosh, but again, it's like, how much do I want to drop? And an apartment is an investment. It is money you kind of spend, but you can always flip the apartment. And frankly speaking, they do go up in value over time, generally speaking. So it would not be an unworthy one. It's just, do I really want to drop that much cash? Oh, look, it's the sun. Huh. You can even see the solar flares coming up. That's the first time I've seen the sun. Let's put our little robot companion out. Like, legit, I think that's the first time I've seen the sun in this game. So, yeah. I've been looking at that all week. Like, I caught sight of that when I was, when I first got here to Monria. And this close, guys, this close to just dropping the cash. I was like, no, I shouldn't. I need to be responsible. You know, if I do something like that, 2 weeks from now, I'm going to need the money for something else. Guaranteed. You know, and I'm fortunate enough to where I have I'm now in a situation where I'm not paycheck to paycheck. Kind of want to keep it that way. So, not to say that I'm rich by any stretch of the imagination. It's just careful saving and federal programs that, no, it's not really a program. The college I went to previous to the one I'm going to now, back in the early aughts, they got shut down due to a lawsuit from the federal government. And that college, the money for all of the tuition for the students that were going there when the college shut down got paid back to the students. And finally that came through, and it's only been 15 years. But because of that, I'm in a much better position than I was, say, a year ago. It's fortunate that happened. That doesn't mean that I'm in, you know, a terrific spot. I still have a lot of student debt that was not affected by that, because it only affected federal loans, but it's not nothing. And so now, you know, you've got it to the point where it's like, oh, I have the money, but I really don't have the money. You know what I mean? But I know having an apartment in Entropia Universe is really a sign of wealth in Entropia Universe. It really is. And that doesn't mean the people who own them are actually wealthy IRL, but as far as in-game or on platform, it's a sign of real wealth, because that means they really put their money where their mouth is for the platform, because they paid to have a private space on the platform. Now, truth be told, if that castle... Global! Oh, lacerating attack nano chip. Nice. If that castle on Calypso came up, that'd be temptation in a bottle. Like, I'm not sure I'd be able to prevent that temptation. That'd be really hard. Just like if a privateer were to come up again. Real hard to pass that up. Again, private space on server, and it's mobile. That's like an apartment plus plus. You know what I'm saying? But it's one of those things where it's like, you got to know what you're doing. You got to be careful with your money, especially now with inflation. And I will say that I don't think putting money into this platform is a bad investment. And of course, it's not an investment in the classic sense of like stocks and bonds and crap, but you are putting your money into a company, expecting to get some form of return, whether the return is entertainment or just a place to hang out, or expecting an actual monetary return because it's a real cash economy. Those are all pertinent pieces of being on these platforms. This platform's like that, Decentraland's like that, Virtueverse like that. There are plenty more of these real cash economy games with the blockchain coming up. I'm sure with all the central bank digital currencies that they're trying to come up with in order to try to eliminate blockchain, which is stupid, because of course the government needs to control everything. That's going to be a thing. So totally expect more real cash economy games to pop up. And that's a good thing, in my opinion. I think that's a good thing, because I think Entropia Universe was long before its time. It's getting upgraded to UE5. That's going to be a major improvement. I'm really looking forward to seeing what it turns into. Speaking of which, Decentraland now has the first major financial institution bank cafe in it. So I think we're going to arrange a visit to that at some point. Drop some mana in my wallet and then go visit Decentraland. I actually thought about investing in land, like Decentraland land, LAND, the blockchain, back when they first came out, but I didn't know a shit about crypto at the time. Didn't know how to deal with it, didn't know how to buy it, didn't know how to sell it. I didn't know anything about crypto, so of course I passed it up, and now like any digital asset, the price of it spiked. That's good for Decentraland. But the platform is woefully underdeveloped. And I know that a couple of prominent Twitter people who do investments and stuff have released NFTs. They've done some good stuff. I think that there's more good stuff coming. I would have liked to see more like classical gameplay, things like what we're doing here, hunting. One of my biggest complaints about EU is there's no fishing minigame, like there isn't, say, Virtueverse, where you can just spend your time casting a line and relax and chill. But every game, every platform has its advantages and disadvantages. This one, the big thing is and honestly, I see this as a draw. And people will be like, what do you mean that's a draw? No, it's a draw. That it's a grind. Like, this game is grind the video game. It's what it is. And the advantage to that is it gets people on the platform for long periods of time. MindArk is not stupid. They do a really good job of designing a platform that attracts and keeps people in it. And does that mean that sometimes we're on for like months or weeks, grind, and then we take a couple months off? Yeah. That's the way grindy games work. But they did it the right way. They did it in such a way where you'll constantly want to come back. And I know there are some people who, you know, they put too much pet in at once and they've squandered it and they got bitchy about it. That's not how you do it. But it's one of those things where you spend the time and you do the soul grinding, you earn your skills, you earn your points, and if you do that, you'll always want to come back. And I've had times when I've spent a month or two away. The last 10 weeks I've been in a grand total of a couple of hours. I mean, you know, 99% of those hours were spent on camera. But on the same token, I still wanted to come back at the end of it. And I came back to Monria for the first time in a long time. And it was worthwhile. Because there are things I want. I want these chapters. I only have chapter 2. I don't have to hunt yogs anymore. And hunting yogs was a lot of fun. Actually, I find them a lot more pleasant than hunting Shoggoth. But I gotta hunt Shoggoth for chapter 1. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep hunting Shoggoth. We're gonna stop for Easter Mayhem. I have decided to do Easter Mayhem. And that starts in just a few days. But the hunt for chapter 1 is on. And, you know, I spent a lot of time on Cyrene. Still one of my favorite planets. Wish there were apartments there, too. There aren't. These towers. Dude, I would love to have an apartment there. And the thing is, if you buy an apartment on Monria, you get to take advantage of all the Monria-born perks. Except I don't think you get a t-shirt. Which is awesome. Because you're naturalized on the Monria. This is water, by the way. I'm recording this on a Friday night. I haven't had a drop of alcohol since a week ago Tuesday. Kind of missing the scotch, but eh. So yeah, we are hunting Shoggoth, and we're going after the chapters. The thing about the chapter hunt, like, they designed it to be a seriously difficult thing to accomplish. Like, they didn't want this to be easy peasy lemon squeezy. They wanted you to have to earn your bones. And actually, it's a really good quest chain for early players, because you're gonna get your early skill points doing this. You go out, you hunt Shoggoth until you get chapter 1. By the time you're done getting chapter 1, you probably have the skills you need to go hunt yogs. And then you go hunt yogs for a long period of time. And by the time you're done, you probably have the skill points to go hunt cultists. And then you go hunt cultists. Rinse, repeat. And when it's all over, you go and hunt shubs. Nothing I hate more than shubs. Hunting shubs. They're awful. Just rough. And I say that because, well, frankly, they're more powerful than what I have armor for. That's actually on my list. Is I need to either A, get 5B plates, which I am willing to drop the cash on now. That is something that's on my list this year. I actually am able to drop the cash on it this year, so 5Bs are in the cards. Might even be on before Easter Mayhem starts. That might be a thing I do before I start Easter Mayhem. And, you know, thanks to the patronage of my patrons, and I do set money aside for my channel every single month so that when things like that pop up, I can do it. I should be able to take care of that. That's the thing about doing a YouTube channel is if you want to start a YouTube channel, you're going to put the money into it. You got to be strategic about it. Know when to spend. Know when not to spend. So, for instance, I had a website for a couple of years. I spent way too much, hundreds of dollars to keep that website up and running. Never updated it. Finally, this year, I'm like, I'm done. I don't use it. I don't update it. It's a waste of my money. And so I canceled it. I kept the email address, and I still spend probably more than I should on the email address and the domain name. But I canceled the business aspects of it. It's no longer monetizable because I never use it. It's not useful monetizing something you never add to because you're not driving traffic. And I was terrible at updating it. And I fully admit that because I put more effort into this than I did into that. And my original plan had been to do all of the above, and that never materialized. After 2 years, I had to face reality. But I wanted to do more with this, and so because I'm focusing on this, I'm doing more video editing, as you saw in the last video. This video might go up pretty raw, but a lot of my future videos, there's going to be edits involved. Some mixed content. We're going to be working on developing those skills, and you're going to be here for the whole thing. Wow, I just ummed for the first time. So get this. I spent most of the evening practicing a speech. I've got a speech to give tomorrow. I'm going to the Libertarian Party convention, of course, because I'm the state treasurer. I can thank Olga for conning me into that. And I have been working on this speech, formulating the speech for weeks. I finally wrote it down today. I spent hours practicing it. I still don't have it down. When speaking the speech, I don't put in all the intercessory ums, uhs, bleh, like I kind of do here. I'm not as bad as a lot of people, but there shouldn't be any of them. So that's something I'm working on, particularly for the video content. And I didn't realize that I had all of those ums and things going on until just now because I was practicing a speech earlier. You know, when you're contemplating things, when you're thinking about things, like when I do the more philosophical videos, talking about individual quotes, or when I'm talking about philosophical theory or philosophical topics, or theosophical topics from time to time, although I really haven't touched on the topic of God at all. I did start my Bible series, which is unfinished. I really need to go back and work on that, do more of that. I do think that would be a worthwhile thing to do, is to have my Bible commentary up. Now, whether it's on this channel or an alternative channel, I've gotten a lot of feedback. People want to see things on this channel, some more variety. The only problem is that really wrecks the YouTube algorithm. YouTube hates it when you do shit like that. Hates it. So that's something I need to think about, how I'm going to structure that and do that. I'd like to do more political commentary. That will be on a separate channel, which I've got plenty of email addresses to set up channels. I could have half a dozen channels set up and not run out of things to work with. It's just a matter of putting the work in. And if I can't even produce enough content for my main channel, why would I try producing content for a sub-channel? Doesn't make sense. Even if it's like a once a month thing. In fact, one of those sub-channels, I put a lot of my original Patreon exclusives on, but I wasn't sure if I'd be retaining the email address, so I started uploading them to this channel as unlisteds, just in case, so I wouldn't lose them. I'm not sure what would happen to them, to be honest with you. So, oh. My boots arrived. I'm wearing them. Yeah, I actually spent a little bit of ped on new boots. Boots of Terralia. There's a few other Terralian items I really want to add to my repertoire. But these boots were the first ones. And of course I've got the kilt from the St. Patrick's Day event. And my 15th anniversary gold shirt. Oh. Apparently my attachments were damaged. I've got a video plan talking about attachments, by the way. Y'all, I think, are going to get a kick out of it. Need some equipment to set that video up. There's going to be some B-reel stuff. But when I'm finally able to produce that video, I'm hoping y'all like it. I really do. It might involve some of the things that I picked up in that previous video that y'all watched. Weapon attachments in Entropia universe. Drag and drop. Weapon attachments in real life. Not so much. Oh, the Shoggoth are not going to be kind to us tonight. They're not going to give us the drops. They're not going to give us the drops. Which I actually didn't really expect it. One of the things I am going to do is I'm going to have to do more recording of just raw footage. That way if the chapter drops, I don't miss it. Because that would be my luck. I would not be recording, and then the chapter would drop, and then, well, fuck my life. Come on. We're going to plow through a few more of these and then we'll call it. My loyal robot at my side. Do I have any more pet food? No, I think I used it all. Damn. I'm gonna buy more Nutrio bars. This robot's auto loot is something to really useful. Really useful. Come to think of it, does this status passives auto loot? Oh, increased run speed. Yeah, it takes a shitload of energy for this auto loot. It's only 5 meters, but it makes a difference. It really does. Don't generally need the run speed, although I can see where at times it could become in handy. I do wish more pets had more effects, and I understand you can buy like them for an hour or something like that, which is interesting. I think that, in my personal opinion, when you buy an effect for a pet, you should be able to buy it permanently, and that way your pets are customizable. I think that would be a really cool mechanic when Mind Art goes to UE5, if they were to adjust the way pets work so that they can do that. Because the alternative is constantly taming pets and throwing them into the pet grinder, which is basically what those things are, and using the essence you get in order to train your pets. And so, like, I would not tame extra leprechauns here on Monria because I can't stand the idea of throwing sentient beings into a meat grinder. But for yogs, which are bugs, doesn't bother me that much. Go into the cave, tame a bunch of yogs, throw them into the fucking grinder. Here, have some essence. It's bug food. Yeah. And our pets are like, I will not eat the bugs, I will not live in the pod. Eat your bugs. Okay. We're gonna kind of fight our way out of here to the road where it's safe, and then we're gonna call it. It's been a long day, guys. Good day. Overall, I think. My son would disagree. He had to deal with medication, but overall a good day. That poor kid. Alright guys, thank you for watching, thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. And as always, I really appreciate the support. Please consider becoming a patron to support the work I do here. My patrons make this possible. Without my patrons, this would be so much more difficult. It would be just like the early days. I'm not monetizable on YouTube yet, so really, they make a lot of this possible. So thank you so much to my patrons. And for those of you considering becoming a patron, even that's appreciated too. So we'll see you in the next one.